This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, for Vbklmour.gov. Plastic surgery. What seemed like the opulence of millionaires once has now trickled to the nearest understanding of cost-effective methods to be able to reconstruct many illnesses in Africa today. When looking at the vanity aspect of cosmetic surgery, we can now understand illnesses such as cancer determines who no longer in society dominates the arena, but who can receive help for the necessary aspect of beauty and reconstructive surgery for things like HIV, cancer, and many other dysphoria illnesses that paralyze and destroy our bodies today. This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, for Vbklmour.gov. This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, for Vbklmour.gov. Being able to understand the coltan cell drain is a sensitive issue for most of us. Being able to earn for our living is one thing, but being able to understand sieving minerals as severe as explosive is understanding the severity of skin conditions likened onto what was left behind in Hiroshima. Being able to treat these illnesses takes so much time and so much care for these people. To one, be able to still have earnings, which was the alpha in our deficit. Two, to have the medical instruments and equipment to be able to do so. This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, for Vbklmour.gov. This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, for Vbklmour.gov. Being able to trade coltan abroad is no longer the boom culture in our society today for Africa, especially in the Congo, while coltan minerals get transferred abroad to such countries as China to be able to mass produce very insufficient cheap phones, while most people have tagged on to the nearest requirement every single month in Europe. Being able to understand the severity and the conditions and how it affects NHS Africa for us is almost like taking time to just think how delicate the hands of those people are when they are poisoned every day with coltan poisoning. This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, yelling a deficit on those in need and also stopping those people who take coltan sieving and the severity of it all not seriously. This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, for Vbklmour.gov. Being able to understand business abroad is key in relations with other countries done correctly. When looking at the nearest thing called business and charity these days, one needs to understand that arms fair and charity dealing can no longer be negotiable in Africa. So many charities were arrested last year dealing arms fair in Africa. We have so many programs running, our Ofsted running, the gun dismantlement programs for the street, homeless, and so many other people running in Africa, that we cannot afford charities selling arms fare to our children in today's society. When business is done correctly, many people will be at ease and at peace to always think to give back into the society that helps them. This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, for Vbklmour.gov. This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, for Vbklmour.gov. Breast cancer. Well women being, and well men's being, of course. Being able to understand cancers that affect us today is key in understanding how devastating it is to know that our skin tissue has a malfunction inside. Being able to have surgery is key in understanding reconstruction after cancer has been taken out of our bodies. Being able to suffer from things like bowel cancer is an embarrassing thing for men in today's society. We no longer need to be afraid, because there is help, and there is reconstruction available for those suffering from cancer. So I yell a deficit for these people to be able to have peace of mind and insurance while going in for the latest surgeries. This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, for Vbklmour.gov. This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, for Vbklmour.gov. Being able to help with cancer can be such a difficult thing to do in society today. A better understanding into skincare is needed to be able to intervene with so many factors of life that one might have to go through living in camps in today's society. The daily notion of maybe being liked in society is key in understanding skin bleaching in today's society. A fairer skin of chemical intoxication means that the skin is highly damaged, and much work and development is needed with an understanding just what might go wrong when various chemicals are mixed together and people can no longer live their lives according to what was once natural, which is now in a cancer zone of our everyday lives. I yell a deficit for the scans needed, the X-ray scans needed to be able to view cancer much more effectively and to diagnose it while it's yet early. Being able to do keyhole operations on large ulcers is key when looking at different cancers at a larger grade, and being able to train and facilitate NHS Africa and its staff to do so. Carrying out the operations may not be easy, but saving lives is something that needs to be done every day in an easier form. This is Queen Africa Nancy Mpanzu, Prime Minister of Africa, for Vbklmour.gov.